What is going on, guys? It's Joel here. Today I'm going to be tearing into that 4G63 head. I will be using a socket to pound down those valve springs so I can release those keepers, get those out of there, and then break those springs loose. And then I'm able to, at that point, get the valves out and check around where they're seated, see if there's any damage to the head. I'll also be able to see if there's any other parts that I may need. And then we will also be tearing into the blocks some more and see if there's anything on that end that we may need as well. And then we'll get one big order and get it in as soon as possible so we can continue on with this build. So let's get started. Here's what it looks like when you demolish some keepers and get those springs out. So now from here we'll pull all these out. We'll get those seals out of there and we'll get the valves out. And just continue the process with all of them. We have the valve seals off of there. So now, just a matter of getting those valves out and taking a look. Two culprits that weren't seated right in the head are stuck in there, so I'll have to see about banging them out. The others all came out, just slid right out after I got the seals undone, so looks like those will be a pain to get out. Had some material kind of building up in the oil pickup here. So we'll look at replacing that. here is the block completely disassembled. Looks like a couple of these bearings have a little bit of scoring. Can kind of catch it with the light. And then the crank. I most likely will be sending the crank out just to make sure that everything is good on that. The cylinder heads I have to inspect, see if there's any scoring at all going on there, and see if I'll have to have those cylinders bored out. I did drop the head off at the machine shop, so that's currently getting worked on. They said it'll be a few days on that, so they're going to check to make sure it's level and then mill the head if need be, and then they're also going to pressure test since I had those valves that weren't seated correctly. I imagine that they were slightly bent, so that's what caused that. So he's just going to pressure test it, make sure it's all good, and then he's going to clean it. So we'll get that back and see how that is, and we'll inspect the cylinders here and see what's going on. I'm not 100% liking what the inside of the cylinders look like. There's no scoring to where I can get my nail into it, but like I said, I'd rather be 100% safe rather than sorry. So I'll probably send out the block here to get bored out just because of the material that was floating around in it. So that is the disassembly of the 4G63 motor. I'm going to send the block out, have that bored out, and I'm not entirely sure how much I'm going to have it bored out yet. And I'll figure out as to my piston size and everything and get all that ordered in. Not sure as to stock on pistons and rods. Like I said, it depends on how much I bore it out, but I'll have to check into what's all in stock and go from there on that. So we'll send out the block, drop that back off to the machine shop when we pick up the head, and we'll send the crank with it and make sure that's all set as well. And then we'll go from there, get the parts, and we'll be able to start putting things back together, and we'll get to the technical side of things at that point. So that will wrap up the disassembly. And like if you liked the video, subscribe if you'd like to see the rest of this build, and we will see you in the next one.